Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Arknights Rise from Ember, episode number 2 and 3 reactions. 2 episode reactions because I missed the previous episode. My computer got a little bit into trouble, so I wasn't able to do reactions for like 2 or 3 days. But yeah, like the ones that I missed, I'm going to be doing like double episodes. That's why 2 episodes today. I'm going to react to episode number 2 first, then 3, and then I'm going to talk about both of them. So that's how I'm going to do this. So in the previous episode, first episode of season 3, we get to see more about like Jen trying to talk to Wei about the whole situation with reunion, and they were talking about Wei were saying like how like if they do something, there's going to be like a whole political like a situation. And Wei was ready to do that, but Jen was like, no, I'm going to go there, and she decided to get cut ties with them so that she's not officially affiliated with them. Now she can go there and do anything, and like Wei and the Lungmen won't really be held liable after that. But anyways, we had like a whole section where they kind of argued about it, and later on, Wei and I forgot the name of his wife. Both of them asked like Rhodos Island to help out with bringing both Tallulah and Jen back. And then we also had that section with Hoshiguma at the end. Right, so yeah, let's see what happens today. Let us begin. Episode number 2. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's begin. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, what? Who are these guys? Either. The. Yep. All right, I see. Okay, it's the first time I'm hearing the opening. I don't think we had the opening in the previous episode, right? Yeah. What the hell? Okay. Ah, Riona. Okay, makes sense. Okay. Damn, the whole war here. Makes sense. That's the direction this is going. It's pretty obvious. Okay. Damn. Right. Wow, that was a really good opening. Alright, let's see. Bounty list. Right. The new one now. 10 candies. I see. Hmm. Right. Damn. Hmm. Damn. Overqualified. Oh boy. Yeah, because. Hmm. Hmm. Right. Oh. Hmm. Damn. Whoa. Interesting. Her shadow was. Hmm. Okay. Oh, she's trying to see. Oh. Oh no. Oh God. Wait. Is that? Oh, is this where Talula comes in? No, that's not. Wait, what? Oh. Oh boy. Wait. That. Wait, what? How's the dog? What's going on here? Okay, I'm confused. Wait, am I forgetting something from season 1 and 2? This is Rhodos Island, right? I thought that was Talula. Wait, show your face. I. Okay, never mind. I don't know. She really looked like Tallulah to me. I thought it was Tallulah or something. Okay, never mind. Theresia. So this is happening before the doctor had amnesia, right? There you go. And okay, it makes sense. That's why W knew Doctor from the beginning. So Amia, right? Little Amia. That's Amia, right? Yeah, must be. Okay. Work over the. Hmm. Okay, so hmm. And and then there's the doctor. Oh, I forgot her name. I knew her. Chess player. Damn. Interesting. Okay. Right. Wait. Wait. Oh, damn. So she's not even a. Okay. She has a grenade ready. So this is where they. Hmm. Yeah. Wow. Oh, there she is. I was gonna say, like, that's why I mistook her. Yeah, who? Oh, Wendigo. Deal. Oh boy. So this is when, okay, okay, this is the first episode, right? When Ace like, oh my god. Oh, Scout ran. Two shadows. We. Wait, so Theresia is okay. Wait. That's why the two shadows? So is Teresa inside her or something? Right. Oh my god. Oh, right. Damn! It's gone. Delivered. Hmm. Okay, interesting. Okay, this is a. I just realized she also wears those rings like Amiya does. Oh boy. Okay, let me react to this episode 3, then I'll talk about it. Now, I think I understood most of it, but there might be few things that maybe I couldn't understand. I'll talk about all of that after reacting to episode 3. Alright, let's continue. Episode number 3 reaction. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's begin. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, for Jen today, okay. This episode. This is after W. Okay. Hmm. Damn. Oh wow. Hmm. Oh, it has broken. So wait, does this mean that it didn't show her like she was still like like she was fallen. It's yeah. I don't know. You know what? Let's wait. Hmm. Like the thing that I found odd about the previous episode is that how similar Talula looks to Teresa. I genuinely thought that was Talula when they showed her at the beginning. I was like, wait, Talula? And then there was some other character. I was like, oh, never mind. Right. Hmm. Hmm. Patriot, right? Hmm. Damn, the amnesia really changed Doctor's personality, right? Kind of. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Damn. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What's up with this girl? We saw her in the first episode of season three. Huh. Damn. Well. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Okay. Whoa. What the? All right, here we go. Ah. Wait, they, yeah, it tied him up with Monster. Oh wow. Hmm. Okay. Right. Damn. Oh, I just saw him. Mephisto's there. Well, obviously. If forever. Damn. Right. Well, something going on with her. Like, there's like two shadows and everything, all that stuff. Hmm. Hmm. Oh no. Wait, she doesn't know? Oh. Patriot? Yeah, Patriot. Oh, Chen's already here. Well, makes sense. Good lord. Hmm. Wait. Hmm. Okay. Wait, that's Monster. What are you? Oh my god. Damn, this is extreme. She's like, okay, well, damn, that's one way to convince. Oh boy. Yeah, I was gonna say. Hmm. Hmm. Patriot? Yep. Ah. Oh no. Well, she knows now. Hmm. Ace as well. Okay, so I realized. So her whole thing is like memory. Like that's why she was talking about how memories are important because she probably forgets. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. The goddamn. Because previously he was. Hmm. Hmm. Oh yeah. Well. Hmm. But didn't Talila give him the the and told him that if you want to shut this down, what? Oh, right. Hmm. Wait, what? Right. So when she uses her, hmm. Yeah. Oh boy. Well, they know because they use Rosmontis's. Yep. Right. Okay. Crazy. Like slicing a potato. Hmm. I see. Artificially created infected. Oh my god. That's why she didn't want to touch the doctor, I think. Right? In the previous episode? Hmm. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, because as they mentioned, the doctor before was like very shrewd, cunning, and whoa, what just happened? Oh, Patriot. Right. Okay. Hmm. And there you go. That was episode number three. So episode two and episode three reaction. Now episode three, I understood everything. Like there wasn't really anything not to understand. Episode two, however, I will say there were a few sections which I am a little bit confused, and not confused, I would say, but I'm not clear that much. So I'll be focusing more on the. Okay, so let me talk about episode number, season three, episode two first. Episode 2 showed us W's story and W's connection to Rhodos Island, you know, uh, what how it was before the doctor lost his memories and everything. So, first and foremost, the biggest thing is the presence of someone that we never knew. Teresa or Theresia, what was her name? Something like that. She looks so much like Tallulah that at the beginning when or it could be the reverse. Maybe Tallulah looks like her. I don't know. That at the beginning when we saw that section where W was like sprawled on the ground, Innes was there. All of them were like defeated. Um, she comes in, and like I was like, wait, is that Tallulah? Because obviously we know that W and Tallulah, they're like like they're like part of the same group. So I was like, oh, this is where Tallulah found her or something like that. And then we move on to Rhodos Island. I was so confused at the beginning. I was like, what's happening? Isn't this seems like Rhodos Island, right? But then, like, when I saw the doctor, I was like, oh yeah, this is Rhodos Island. That is not Tallulah. So then we get to meet this girl, Teresa, right? Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. So that's her. Now she made W stay, like obviously, like W got inspired by her, and like yeah. So she stayed there. The other Sarkas, like those two, they left, and W stayed here for a while, for like half a year or something like that, I think, right? Or was it a year? As we get to see later. Now this part I need to understand here. First and foremost, fast forward, we see W with knife on, like on this other person. Okay, I'm going to read this part because I need to understand. We all made the right call, including that Babel commander. um Her head alone ended the war. Oh, they're talking about Teresa. You hunted my entire team down and silenced us forever, just as the Highness Theresis wanted. Teresa is the only one who deserved to be called Highness. Right, Teresa. We stained our hands with her blood, even up until the end where she. Okay, so I understand what's going on. So basically, like as they said, they had to give up Teresa for some kind of a, like, I don't know, some kind of a, like a compromise or something, like a, and she died. And even the enemy was saddened by this, because like he was like, even though we were the ones who did that, she was still, anyways. Okay, so there you go, that's what happened. Now, okay, I understand that part. So basically that's what happened. Now a few other things to talk about here. First and foremost, they talk about, like those two, Ines and the other guy, I forgot his name, the dude. They talk about how they look at the Rhodos Island stuff. Number one, Kelshi, as they said, that Kelshi is, like she's like pretty normal, like like a doctor. Okay, here we go, I'm going to read this part. Okay, Her Highness is a sorrowful but a very warm person. Yeah, so much that it's hard to believe she's the center of this cruel civil war. Dr. Kelshi has a cold mechanical feel, like a machine, but she never called us circus devils. Yeah, she sees us as equals, right? And then finally, the doctor, to draw an analogy, looks like a chess player. All soldiers are nothing but pawns. Seem like Her Highness and the others are turning a blind eye to that. That's the thing. Now, this is one thing that was kind of brought up at the very beginning, and Doctor himself was pretty, like, he also kind of like thought about this. What type of a person was I before my amnesia? Like now his personality is like, we see how his personality is, and a lot of things kind of make sense because of this. How is he so adept at commanding others? And like, as you can see, if you, as far as I can remember, in season 1, they implied, they showed how Doctor is like very much well versed with how to command and what to do in certain situations. Like a tactical player, he can literally like envision the whole, like like he obviously he uses that little thing. He can see the whole, like like the battlefield, and he can properly, because that's what literally what the players do in the game, right? They strategize, they put their characters in. That's what the Doctor does, and this kind of explains how he does that. Before his amnesia, obviously he might have forgotten his stuff, but that is like an innate skill that he has had, so that is still there. Like he knows what to do. He, as a chess player, he can kind of like like properly command the team, and that's why he's so good at it. That Then obviously, like I said, like the whole question is like, was the Doctor a good person, a bad person before the amnesia? Like from here it looks like he was more of a, I guess you could say, neutral type. you cannot really call him evil or a good person. He's like a cold-headed, like not like a very tactical, a very logical, like that type of a person who would do and probably make sacrifices if necessary, which is very much different from the current doctor now after amnesia, as you can see. And that's why Kelsey has so much, like I guess Kelsey probably doesn't know how to like interact with him because of that, because she also probably sometimes, like literally in this episode only, I think, or was it the next episode, episode 3, Kelsey kind of mentions and kind of hints to the doctor that, yeah, like you are not like this, like now literally you are like bringing, like with the whole thing with Frost Nova, he brought her in and like gave her like a burial and everything, like things like this the previous doctor probably would never have done, so Kelsey is very much like, like, and like I guess you could say she doesn't know how to kind of interact because she knew the previous doctor, so like that kind of thing. Again, I'm just guessing at this point. I'm not sure if that's how the previous doctor was, but from what little Ines told us, that's what it seems like. Also, that is also probably why in the next episode, that is episode 3, there was a section where they kind of was talking about how sometimes, like like the whole thing with Rosemont is when they were saying like sometimes even if you that part where they were talking about like coming and participating in the war, and sometimes like you should make sure that you don't go so much into it that you lose yourself in that, like that kind of thing, which was like they were talking about Rosmontes, but they were also drawing a parallel to the doctor as well, because that is what a lot of the people who knew doctor previously and who knows doctor now after the amnesia, a lot of people probably thinks like that, like they prefer the current doctor, and that's why they probably fear that the more he's participating in the war, the more he's getting involved in this, his memory might come back, he might get back his previous personality, and they don't want that happening to the doctor, because the current doctor is a lot more humane, I guess you could say. Something like that, maybe. I don't know. Again, this is just what I could understand from these 2 episodes. Like the previous doctor was like a very logical, like as they called him, a chess player. But now the current doctor is more emotional, more human, you could say. That's why. And obviously that's the main reason behind that is like the amnesia, right? Yeah. Okay. Anyways, the episode number 2, which I was talking about, was W's story, basically. Like we get to see what she went through and a lot of other things. A lot of other things we also got to know. For example, like I think they mentioned this in season 2. I probably forgot that Patriot was actually Frost Nova's father, right? Yeah. And that's why he found the thing like crumbled. And he realized that like Frost Nova died. That part. Now, for a moment I thought, when they were showing Patriot at the end with the glowing thing, it was all crumbled, I thought that he was talking about W, but then I realized later on when when I remember that Frostnova was supposed to be his daughter, I realized that that's probably Frostnova's, and that's why it broke down, so that kind of implies that she died. Also, I'm not sure what happened to W. W seemed like she fell down and she was like, I doubt she's dead. Maybe we'll see her later. I don't know. Right. Okay. Now another thing I have to understand this is okay. I think I understand most part of episode number 2. There's one part that I think they deliberately made it very cryptic, and maybe we'll get to know what's going on later. The whole situation with Tallulah. So what's up with the 2 shadows thing? So is someone else inside of her? Like what's happening? There are 2 shadows. Like Ines saw that. One was like this like dark shadow, and then the bluish shadow, and the other one was like red shadow. So I don't know. I feel like they were like kind of implying that Tallulah's in a certain situation, currently in the same spot as Teresa was back then, and they were kind of saying like, like she's in the, unlike Teresa, Tallulah wants destruction, like wants to just this part. Okay, the Patriot was saying, "Warriors of Rhodos Island, do you hear me?" Okay, then I think that was, who was that? Was that Guard or was that Scout? No, Guard, right? Yeah. It's just like 3 years ago, but it's nothing like Theresia. Tallulah is trying to dismantle the very tower she built. Yeah, then they're like kind of drawing parallels against Tallulah and Teresa. Yeah, and so this is why Ines tried to run away, and she was like, "Oh, I have to tell W," but then she was caught, and you can see that she died, and yeah. In the end, W comes and confronts Tallulah. Tallulah's like, "Oh, you betrayed me," and like in the end, the whole place breaks down. She falls, and okay. Now this part is pretty interesting. Like here, you can see that W was talking to this boy. She was like, "The hospital's the only place with drugs that can stop the onset of oropathy." Then what's taking so long? Okay, I dug him out of the rubble and saved him. If I'm not for him, then did he run away? Okay, W says you won't know for sure until he gets back. Not like you've ever trusted him though. Like, it's a very interesting like conversation because I feel like this is the part which like W is also talking about herself. Like she's seeing herself in the boy, I guess. Seems to me you look down on him quite a bit. You don't even know his name. Yeah. Let me know if you can't deal with the pain. I'll give you an easy way out. If you don't want that, endure it. You saved him, so he wants to save you. It's that simple. It's got nothing to do with status or lineage. Keep that blade, I'll stand in for its owner and say it's, yeah. Right. And then in the end, we get to know what was W's like actual goal. When W's like fallen down, she was like, "You said this war gives us our worth." So Hederi was like, "So W, you want to? Okay, but from now on, we're going to decide our worth for ourselves. You want to liberate the Sarkas, yeah, right." So obviously, because she was held by them. That's why I said, like, she, while talking to that little boy, she was also talking about herself, like how like she never was able to be honest with them properly, but deep down inside, she also knows, like, how much grateful she is, and that's why all on her own she wanted to like help them out and everything. The Sarkas, yeah, and all that stuff. Okay, I think like that's like the basic understanding I have of this episode. Um, Let me know if I missed anything or if I misunderstood something. Because like I said, I feel like especially like because my memory for season 1 and 2 are a little bit hazy. Like maybe my memory was crystal clear, I probably would have understood this episode way better. But I think this is what I could understand of this. Obviously, W was someone who took, like there was another W before, and she was this mercenary who got into like like the with the Sarkis and everything, and then at the beginning she was more like she was just doing stuff for herself. She even probably had a plan in getting Hederi's, like as Ines said, that are you trying to kill him and get his bounty or something. But everything changed after that, after they get captured. Like they get involved in that attack, and then Teresa comes in, and Teresa kind of changes her. She decides to stay and help them out, and then something happens, and Teresa was sacrificed, which obviously she didn't like. So she went and like hunted down those guys that killed her. And now after that, again in the battlefield, she met Hederi and Ines. So she joins them again, and then after that, right after that, they meet up with Tallulah. Like she meets up with Patriot and all that. Right, and then the whole section with Ace, Scout. Okay, I thought like that section with Ace was the first episode where like Ace like sacrificed himself. Because that was the end of Ace, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that section where like Ace and like Scout was there? Like W was there looking at Ace. Ace was like introducing himself. Yeah, my name is Ace, Rhodos Island elite operator. yeah, and then like she W sees that and then leaves. She couldn't see them, die in front of her eyes because she knows them, like all that. Um, so yeah, that's what happened over there. So that was definitely the first episode, right? Where so that was the part where the doctor lost his memories. That was the section. That was the episode. Okay, so so after that Inez died, and okay, I see. And Inez got to know the whatever that is that's going on with Tallulah, like the two shadows and all that. Now, like I said, I don't understand this part. What's up with the two shadows? Like, what are they implying here? Like, like I feel like they're trying to imply some kind of connection between Teresa and Tallulah, but I might be wrong. Anyways, and then we had that section where Inez also died, and then W betrayed Tallulah and fell down. Patriot was like, why are you doing this? And Tallulah gives him Tallulah gives him the key or something like that, right? And tells him that, oh, if you think that we're going too far, stop this thing yourself or something like that. All right, so that was episode 2. Now episode 3, I'm going to talk about. Episode 3 was way more understand. I could understand everything over there. At first we see the whole section with Chen and Tallulah, and this is the part where Patriot comes in and he's like, leader, the core seed is activated without my knowing why. And he says, like, many things when started will not stop. At which she's like, that's why I'm entrusting this key to you. I want you to decide whether we should stop. Right. And then there's like some kind of a split personality thing going on. Like there's like certain sections where Tallulah is speaking in a certain way, and then there's some sections where she's like having like a whole existential crisis. So yeah, this is the part where I'm still not understanding. Maybe we'll get a clear understanding later on, like what's going on with her. Surely they'll probably explain later. Okay, and then after that we have the whole section. Like from here onwards, everything was I could understand. We were seeing like Roro Silent preparing for like the battle. Blaze was there, Rosemontis was there. Blaze told Rosemontis, and Rosemontis was like, no, I have to go. Right, so this episode, we get to see a lot more about Rosemontis in this episode, and what's the deal with her. So Amiya gives her speech and all that. Yeah, then they do the whole diversionary technique. Like while they're close to the moving city, they infiltrate the whole thing. Ursus and like all that stuff happens. Tallulah tells Mephisto's group to be isolated because a few of the people from his group are kind of showing like okay. Then we have then the next section is we get to see the power of Rosemontis. So Rosemontis. Oh no, before that we had that the Ursian. I think that's how they call them, right? Ursian. Who comes out and who was like, get away from here, you guys destroyed everything and all that. And we get to see Guard come in, who's wearing like reunion dress and everything. And obviously Kelsey's like, what the hell is this? And he's like, let me explain. And he tries to tell that lady to go back, but the lady's like freaking out. So Kelsey does the extreme thing, gets Monster, grabs Guard, and he's like, did he do something to you? I'm gonna kill him. Tell me, did he do something to you? Like obviously, as she said, this is like a psychological way of because otherwise she would have continued freaking out and she would have been like, you guys are this, you guys are that. So she put her in a situation and literally made her fall into a situation where she was responsible for God's life and death. So she had to be truthful to herself. She had to talk from her heart. Obviously, deep down in her heart, she knows God helped her out, and and Patriot and God, all of them are like helping them out. So that's why she was like, no, he didn't do anything. So that was a bit brutal, but like that was required because the guys, the guards, like they were coming in this direction, and things would have gone very bad in a very bad direction if we didn't hurry up. So that was a very good way of hurrying up, I guess. Like shock therapy, basically. Anyways, so yeah, that's that. Then we had the whole section with Rosemontis where we get to know Rosemontis's power. So basically, she controls everything like in her mindscape, And that is probably why Amia and everyone is like literally there beside her, hand holding her hand, so that if she goes too far into it, they can drag her back out. It's like a very unstable power, I guess. And we get to know the reason behind it. She's artificially infected. They infected her brain, and like it was like some kind of an experimental like thing. And that's why she's so powerful in that sense. But at the same time, it takes a lot out of her. And if she like starts sinking, she won't be able to come back. That's why like Amia and everyone was like grabbing her hand, putting their head together, trying to bring her out of that whole thing. But anyways, she helped out, and that is why a lot of people didn't want her to be in the battlefield, because she was a little kid. She doesn't deserve any of this. But she was like, no, I don't want my family to die. I will do what I have to do if I can save them with this. And she also forgot about Ace and Scout's death, so which also we get to realize that she has this whole thing with memory. She also cannot touch other people. That's why, because the her power like leaks out of like her thing. And so all of the things kind of connect, the dots start getting connected, everything kind of makes sense little by little. And this is also where they were kind of talking about, like they were drawing a parallel between Rosmontes and Doctor. There we go. This has been covered up, but oh no, not this part, a little bit. Okay, her arts leaks out of her body, and left alone it will take lives. After she was taken into custody, she underwent training to control her arts, as per her wishes, obviously. Do you think she's a weapon? She's absolutely not, but that power is far too strong. Okay, yeah, this section. Kelshi says, Scout must have felt the same way about you. Yeah, exactly. Like obviously, you like just like how you cannot be called really a monster, but at the same time, your power, like Doctor, just like Rosmontes, Doctor's power and his presence is very important. That is why some things can be only dealt with using overwhelming force, which was the Doctor, pre-amnesia Doctor. And Rosmontes, obviously, she knows that too. Therefore, what is important is what the power will be used for. Applies to the Doctor as well. There you go. That goes for you too, Doctor. And then there was this other part where, yeah, there you go. So, okay, yeah, that's it. So, yeah, there was this whole parallel they were drawing between Rosmontes and the Doctor here as well. Because, for just like how it applies to Rosmontes, that, she has this power. So, in certain situations, even if it's not okay to use her as a weapon, you have to do it to get some results. So we have to keep in mind that you don't go that too much deep into it, that you cannot come back out of it again. And the same applies with the Doctor as well. The pre-amnesiac Doctor, Scout, and everyone felt the same way. They probably didn't really like Doctor that much, but they knew how much necessary he was. And that's why the current Doctor, they probably feel a lot good about them. That's why they were saying, like, don't let the Doctor go into the battlefield, because there's a high possibility he will remember his previous self and he'll revert back to that cold, like, logical, like person. But at the same time, that's why Kelshi was saying, like, even if we don't want to, like, people like you or Rosmontes to be in the battlefield, you have to be here, because you have something that we need. So all we need to do is make sure that you don't go too far into it. Like, we have to drag you back out. Just like Rosmontes, applies to the Doctor as well. Yeah, and that's where it ended. So, like, this episode was, I could understand it pretty well, episode number 3. So yeah, that was very interesting. A lot of lore, a lot of like interesting information. Like I said, if I missed anything, obviously no spoilers, but if I missed anything or if I misunderstood something, especially in episode 2, be sure to let me know in the comments. And I'll end it here. That is my reaction to episode number 2 and 3 of Arknights season 3. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. And that is it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week with another episode. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.